So there's been a lot of confusion about, oh, is it March or it is May? We are here. Let's just celebrate. Anyone they bring, let's just celebrate ourselves because women are special. So my name is Ebunlomo Faole, and with me is Deborah Anedo. She is going to be co-hosting with me today. And this program is brought to you by the Center for Sex Education and Family Life. This is the CSR arm of the Preschoolware International. And what do we do at the center? The center is an NGO, and so we do a lot of things relating to family, and that's why we call this meeting the family meeting. It's a family meeting because we meet here to have conversation and talk about everything about the family. We talk about marriage, we talk about parenting, we talk about womanhood, we talk about manhood, we talk about divorce, we talk about remarry, we talk about teenage children, we talk about the children, everything everything inside family is what we talk about. So we do family living, and that's why we are hosting this family meeting. And we host this family every last Saturday of the month. At the Center for Sex Education, one other thing we do is go to schools to educate children, young adults, children on sex education. We go to communities to also do a lot of awareness. We do the mama and papa awareness, papa and mama awareness, where the man takes care of the woman takes care of the man. So we do a lot of things at the Center for Sex Education and Family Life. And this virtual meeting we started in the year 2021, when we realized that we can actually reach more people when we come online than go into communities. Before we just pick a community and we visit there and we stay there and talk. But when we started this, we're able to reach more people, North America, UK, Australia, we're able to reach a lot of people, some other African countries. And so this is what we do. At the end of every meeting, we drop the phone number to the admin number for anyone who would like to, because a lot of conversation we talk, a lot of things we discuss here go a long way to help people who are struggling with relationships, people who are married, people who are about to marry, people who are out of marriage. And so at the end of the meeting, we drop our phone numbers for you to reach out. So if this is your first time, we want to welcome you, and we want to say it's going to be an interesting and a beautiful one with you this evening. On the 8th of March, every year, we celebrate the International Women's Day. And this year, I was very excited. So what I did was to check the United Nations calendar in December. By December, they're already thinking about what the theme is going to be. At times you see there, at times you don't see, but in January, you will definitely see. So when I saw the theme for the year, Give to Gain, I was so excited because I'm one of those people. I was so excited because I feel United Nations is listening to us wherever we are in our corners. They are hearing us and they are listening to us. Because every year, it is either equality or gender violence or something. And I was like, can we move? Can we move? That's not all that is about to be a woman. Can we talk about something else? And I was so excited when they come up with this year's theme and say, Give to Gain. This is working for me. And this is to encourage every woman in the room. Today, I celebrate beauty. I celebrate strength. I celebrate softness. I celebrate your courage and the depth that you carry. Being a woman is many things at once. It is nurturing and powerful. It is gentle and resilient. It is evolving. It is learning. It is unlearning, and it is rising again. And today, I am reminding every woman, that you do not have to walk this journey alone. We are all here to support you. And so we're going to be having this conversation, talking about give to gain in the family system. And like I mentioned earlier, I have Deborah Anedo. She's going to be co-hosting this meeting with me. And she's going to introduce our guest. Our guest is in the room already. So Adrian, can you please spotlight Deborah? Please, if you are here and you know any woman, lady, girl, sprinter that is supposed to be here, please just send a reminder that we are live. And it's going to be a hot one. I don't want to talk about the guest because she's such a bundle of knowledge. Like, if you have questions, get it ready, so that she can answer your question. Guys, please send the link to as many women that are supposed to be here while I hand over to Deborah. Hello, Deborah. Good evening.
Good evening, Doctor. Good evening, Dr.
Thank you. Nice having you here today by fire, by thunder.
And nice seeing your face, aside from the WhatsApp chat.
Yeah,
Good
right.
evening. Happy International Women's Day, even though it's on the 8th, but yeah.
Yeah, well, this is our own. We're commemorating it today.
Exactly,
yeah.
yes. Happy International Women's Day to everyone. Yeah, and the song that we were playing from the beginning, that song is still ringing in my head. Saying the strength of a woman, the strength of a woman. Like, I can just imagine. I've not actually sat down to like listen to the lyrics well, but just listening, I was like, okay. It's saying some points that we ourselves we need to take note of. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Good evening, everyone. Please, we are doing this together. Please. So before we move forward, we just want to do some house cleaning. So if you have any question, just drop it in the chat. I'll monitor the chat. I'll be looking through the chat so that will allow the our guest speakers.
Okay, I think Deborah's internet.
Okay, I thought it was
me. No, I think it's from her. So good evening, Oyeleru Fisayo. Good evening, Oluwaseun. Please, let's hear more. We're about 18 in this and on the call. We're about 18 on the call. Let's hear you talk. Where are you joining us from? I'm not using this to while away the time. I'm sure that's part of the thing she wanted to do. Oluwaseun, where are you joining us from? $1. Please, I will give you my phone number. I'll send it to your DM. Faith is joining us from Lagos. Who else? Where are you joining us from? Okay, Oluwaseun is joining us from Ibadan. Zainab from Ikeja. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Who else? Who else? Where are the family from Daily Broadcast? Where are you people? Oyeleru is joining from Ogun State. Atinuke from Lagos. Oh, Ejiro is in Lagos. Are you on the mainland or on the island so that I know where to reach you for my dollar? Isolo. Atinuke from Isolo. Okay. Deborah is trying to join back. Adekemi from Port Harcourt. Hi, Adekemi. Thanks for joining. Where are other family members? Okay, praise from Ogun State. Where are our diaspora members? Where are you? You know, you are the reason why we moved this meeting to 7 p.m. Yeah, in those days, when we first started, we always had this meeting very early in the morning before people go for Owambe. Like 9 o'clock, we do 9 to 10:30 before people start getting ready for their parties. But the diaspora members said, oh, they are missing, they can't be waking up at that time. So that was why we moved it to 7 p.m. Okay. Admin, please look for Deborah. She just sent me a message now that she has rejoined. While we wait for Deborah, let me just introduce our guest speaker. Admin, can you please spotlight Mrs. Tara Aishida? Please spotlight Mrs. Tara Aishida. Thank you. Good to have you, ma'am.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening. If you are in the daily broadcast, if you are one of family members in the daily broadcast, you would know that there's somebody that writes. She likes controversial topics, and I think that's what I love about her. Yeah. And she writes very intelligently. Thank you very much once again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I'm going to read her profile. Tara Aishida is a sociable, multifaceted individual. She is interested in learning and transferring and disseminating knowledge acquired in various areas to other people. She's highly resourceful and has interest in several areas of life. She trained as a legal practitioner and has over 30 years experience in active legal practice, particularly family law. She has had over 10 years experience in training parents as the registrar of the School of Parenting in her local church, and has for the past 7 years written a column titled Life with Tara in an online newspaper, www.thisislagos.ng. She currently co-facilitates a grief share support group, a Bible-based therapy group, which creates a safe space for people to discuss their grief parts, explore their thoughts and emotions, and find ways of dealing with their grief. Tara is a mother of 2 adult children. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go into the chat session and welcome our special guest, my Lord, Madam.
Lord is for judges.
30-something years, Kiloku. I'm sure the remaining is just, don't let me say it's politics.
No, I really didn't want to go to the bench anyway. I mean, it's not something that is attractive to me.
But we need you on the bench, oh. We need people like you on the bench, oh.
No.
We need people like you on the bench, especially in the family law area. We need you. You know what divorce is saying now. So yeah, ladies, I can see. Please welcome. Show her some love. Show her some love. Thank you very much. YF says she's joining from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you, YF, for joining. Thank you. I love the emojis. Let it start popping. So Deborah is here now. Deborah, I yield the mic to you right now.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. All right. My Lord, I'll use the word, my Lord, thank you for honoring us. And please consider the bench. Can you hear me clearly?
We can hear you.
We want our people to be there. Like we want our people to be there.
Yes.
So all this family court, family law, we want people to have our mindset, our own kind of people to be there. It's so that please, ma, consider it for the sake of ministry. All right. So I have some couple of questions that I'll be asking you, and I'm sure we'll be able to, like, from those questions we'll get to hear some stories, some life experiences, and some encounter you've had with people, because from your bio we've seen that you have like lengthy years of decades upon decades of experience. And as the theme for International Women's Day says, give to gain, give to gain. So my first question to you, my Lord, is as we celebrate women under this theme, which is give to gain, what does that phrase mean to you personally as a woman? What does that phrase mean to you as a professional and as someone who has experienced different seasons of life? So now that phrase, give to gain, what does it mean to you as a woman, as a mother, as a professional, because I'm sure you've encountered a lot, and also as someone that have experienced different seasons of life?
Thank you so very much. Start with the last question, because that would help. When I was thinking of theme, give to gain, I thought first of all, the way everyone will think, when you give, you always give to gain. So sometimes giving can be very transactional, and that goes to the seasons of life, because when you start off early in life, you're giving to gain. Most times you're giving to get something back because you want to proceed forward, but after a while you start giving to give back, not to yourself but to others. And I think maybe that's really the theme of this year, giving to gain, because the more that you give to others, not being transactional about your giving, you will gain. And you may not gain directly, you may not gain the things that you have given to others back, but you're going to gain in the sense that you are building up a community, you're building up a family, you're building up a society. And because the society is better, because the family is better, because your community is better, then you're gaining from the giving that you're doing. So throughout the seasons of my life, I found out that giving shifts. The more you know yourself, the more you know your purpose, the more you are more acclimatized to who you are and what you want to do, then you find out that in one way or the other, you start to give back. It's almost like an automatic response, because once you know what you're set out for and cut out for, then you start to give back. So give to gain, but in also give to gain, it's about intentional giving. So it's not really about being transactional, but it's being intentional. And as a woman, I've learned that when you give from all that you have, you would gain. As a professional, give to gain, maybe in mentoring, in when you give, or even in the way that you present, your cases, in the way that you treat your clients, in the way that you go to court and present their cases. I do family law. I do a lot of divorces. And I always tell people that my byline is, we give your dead marriage a decent burial, and that's in a way, it's giving decency to something that is otherwise, a very cumbersome and emotional process for people. So giving to gain, even as a professional, is in the way that you present your work, in the way that you mentor the people that are looking up to you or that are following you. It's in the way that you conduct yourself in your work and in the society. When you do all that, you would gain back, much more than you put in. I think I would stop at that question.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. Thank you. I'm fascinated about the phrase you say that when you help people, you are giving them like a befitting burial for the dead marriage. I've never thought of it like that, because yes, some people just, because of irreconcilable differences, they can't come back again, they can't make it work. But now you have to give it a befitting, so that each person will go a decent.
Yeah, so that
decent burial.
Decent burial. You're not necessarily throwing out all the dirty laundry. Nobody really has to, controversial and things like that. Just a decent.
Okay, thank you very much. So this will lead me to my next question, because like you said that when we give, sometimes it's transactional. We give because we're expecting something. So my next question is saying that women are often expected to give endlessly to others. In as much as, okay, we give because we're expecting somebody is transactional, but sometimes women are often expected to give endlessly to others. So now, how can women learn the difference between healthy giving and self-neglect? Because I've heard of stories of women that they gave their all emotionally, financially, spiritually, physically, and then at the end of the day, they are so spent that they lose themselves in the process. So how can women learn the difference between healthy giving and self-neglect?
I think, first of all, I want to debunk a notion that women are expected to give them of themselves. I think as women, we're the ones that put the pressure on ourselves. And I'll tell you why I say so. Because we find out that when we've given and given and given for others, maybe our children, our husbands, and then we are telling them, oh, I sacrificed this for you, I sacrificed that for you. You know what they always say? I didn't ask you to do it.
Yeah.
Of you. So most times it is us that feel that we have to pressure ourselves to give and give and give and give until we have nothing else to give. So it's not society really that has burdened us with that pressure, but we also have burdened ourselves. We've taught to ourselves that for you to be a good woman, this is what is expected of you. And when we finally get to the end of our theta, because we will, most times, then everybody asks us, but I didn't ask it of you. And then you are wondering, but I thought this was what I was supposed to do, and then you now find out that you could have done it, you could have not done it, and nobody will have even bothered you. But it's that cross that we bear. Now, so I just wanted to make that explanation that society demands it, but we ourselves are the ones demanding mainly, because when we now say, oh, I did all this, society now tells us, or our children and husband tell us that, who asked it of you? So healthy giving and self-neglect. The thing about healthy giving and self-neglect, if I will point it down to one thing, is boundaries and self-respect. Knowing your boundaries and knowing what is self-respect for you. You see, because if you know, and I think also it's something about self-awareness. We give so much where we don't know the line between healthy giving and self-neglect. And so many times that line gets blurred. And it's okay if it gets blurred from time to time, because there's really not much of a balance. Sometimes we think we can have it all, but sometimes we can't have it all at the same time. So there's a part that you're going to, give much more than yourself. But the thing to understand is that we must have boundaries. A lot of us as women don't have boundaries. If somebody says this, you jump into it. You want to be a good wife, it's admirable. You want to be a good mother, it's admirable. But you don't have to do all things. You don't have to acknowledge that you can do all things. You don't have to be a superwoman at all times. Now, they say something that I found to be very wrong in my own situation. They say women know how to multitask. I can't. I don't know how to multitask. So if you are giving me 1 thing, 2, 3, 4 things, I will just focus on one, and is that one thing that I'll do. But you see, because we've sort of said, oh, women can multitask, we don't have boundaries. And so because we don't have boundaries, we do everything, and then we're tired, and then we neglect ourselves. So there's a balance to it, and you have to know that balance by being self-aware. I'm very big on self-awareness for women, because until you know who you are, what you can do, what you don't want to do, then you take everything, that everybody throws your way, and then you neglect yourself until you know for sure that you're not what everybody wants you to be. So you're a mother until you remove yourself from those titles that you wear and say, okay, apart from being a mother, apart from being a wife, apart from being a professional, what am I really? Who am I really? Do you understand? And it's until we can ask ourselves those questions that we will know when we are neglecting ourselves, because if we don't know who we are, then everybody is going to define us. And then we'll now one day wake up and say, oh, I did all these things, but I'm spent. Because you've not given yourself, 1, you're not self-aware. 2, you've not prioritized what is important to you. And 3, you don't have the boundaries. So it's learning to be yourself, learning who you are. And then once you learn who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what you would take and what you won't take. And I say, I don't have empirical evidence to buttress what I'm going to say. But I think that for women, we don't get to know these things about ourselves, most of us, until we're in our 30s, late 20s, 30s. That's when we wake up and say, okay, who am I? And that's when we wake up to say, oh, society has said this about women, but what do I really like? And then the older we grow, the more we see that, okay, this is who I am, this is what I want to be identified as, and this is what I want to do. So it's a line, but self-awareness, prioritizing ourselves, and making sure that we have boundaries will help us to play that line well. Have I answered your question? I hope so. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that response. And as you speak, I wish they can do an X-ray of my stomach. I'm just so excited that you understand this assignment that we are giving you today. Like when we started, I said something about the pressure that the United Nations put on us every year. Fight for equality, gender equality. And every year we have to treat that topic. I come here to say, ladies, nobody is telling you not to do it. So people will say, oh, maybe because you have not worked in offices where it is male dominated, then you will understand it. And when they say that, there's something inside me that says, if somebody is doing something that you have excuses for, then your excuses are not tenable. And the pictures and the names that comes to my head is the likes of Okonjo-Iweala and all these people. That we have women who are really breaking through and getting to that place that we are asking for equality for. I work with diverse people, men and women, and I have had men tell me, oh, they don't want to spend their own money, but they still want equality. And so we hear comments like that. And now that you're saying that, it's as if we are the ones putting ourselves in one mode and trying to appear as something that we are not. We are trying to prove something. I tell women in the divorce group that, see, there's no cape, there's no trophy, there's no medal for I raised my children alone. There's no medal for it. You will just fall sick. You will now come and go and die. The children will now be saying, who sent you? Like you said. So I want us to talk more around that stereotype, that belief, that thing that makes women want to spend themselves and end up being exhausted. So I want you to educate us more. This is family. We are free to, we talk to ourselves. We give it back to ourselves here. So I want you to, I want you to talk to us about this. Thank you very much.
Okay, first of all, I want to say that it's not a myth that we are being disenfranchised. There's a lot going on, in public places and in offices and things like that. And, I think the awareness that, the United Nations has come over the years has helped to make us more free, helped us, to be more open and helped us to grow more. So I don't think, but that be that as it may, how can I think you see it's a conditioning. It's a conditioning. You see, when and it starts from the home. Because look at two children, a girl and a boy. Most times in the homes, the boys don't have jobs. They really don't. Maybe they close the door, they wash the cars. But basically, that's basically it. They are in charge of security. It's the ladies, it's the girls that are taught, to keep a home. That are taught, you have to do this. And, your parents will be telling you, especially your mother, is this how you are going to behave when you get to your husband's
house?
Yeah, so it's a conditioning. And I think the more that we speak to ourselves, the more that we see that it's a conditioning and that we don't have to carry those burdens, like we have been taught to. That we can say, look, I am a human being too. I don't have to be the one to do everything in the home. I don't have to be the one to take all the burdens in the home. So it's very important that we understand that it's a conditioning, and that for a lot of us, it's still a condition. Just a little of us understand, what it is like. Quite a number of us are still, stuck in that conditioning. And it will take age, it will take maturity, it will take experience for many women to come out of that and say, I can't kill myself. One thing I've learned, is maybe, like I say, I have a very pragmatic perspective on death. And I've always thought that if your husband or your wife should die, you won't jump in, they won't bury you with that person. If you die today, the children that you're doing all the sacrifices for are going to say, after crying, they will cry. Then they'll say, but mommy wanted me to live a good life and a happy life. And they will go around living that happy life, fulfilling your desire and plan for them. So when we come to understand that we have just one life and that we must live that life and live it well and enjoy life, a lot of us are not enjoying life, because, and religion has a part to play too in it. We've been taught that some things are bad, some things we shouldn't do. But, going out and exposing yourself will help you to see that a lot of the things that we have said are bad and really not bad. Do you understand? So it's a shift in the mind, a shift in the perspective of everybody, every woman here, that you can't do it alone. You can't. It's just not possible for you to do it alone. And you must understand that you have your limits. You have your limits. You must understand that when your children are out of the house, you can't live their lives for them. We take that up too. As women, we want to be, we blame ourselves for the choices of our adult children. You can't blame yourself for the choices of your husband, for example. Do you understand? And the decisions of your parents. The only person that you can blame for your choices are you. And even that, you can only blame yourself based on what you knew at that time when you made the choices and the decisions. So we've sat so long trying to be all that we think we should be, forgetting that we are human, forgetting that we're not anybody's savior, forgetting that, strong, that virtuous woman, that Proverbs 31 woman, doesn't really exist all the time. So until we get to that knowledge of knowing that these are my capabilities, these are my limits, we're going to keep on, trying to break a ceiling that isn't there.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for the balance that you brought into it. That the truth is some people experience it, especially in the public service. Yeah, thank you very much for bringing that. But in all, you are still letting us know that we can't kill ourselves because yeah, you can give and you will gain, but you don't have to burn out because you want to gain at the end of it. And your gaining doesn't have to come from the place where you are giving. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, Deborah, I yield to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. Thank you. So, in my line of profession, because I work as a sexual and gender-based violence expert, we manage cases and all. So, we encourage people to take up this personal development, self-awareness, putting boundaries, ability to say no. It seems like a difficult journey. It's so difficult to break from the programming, that the societies have placed women to. So this will lead me to my next question, because I feel if we talk more about the advantage of being liberated, if we talk more about the advantage of being healed or starting a healing journey, if we talk more about the advantage of growth, maybe they will see it as something to pay the sacrifice for. So this will lead me to my next question that say, what does women gain when they invest in their healing? What do they gain when they invest in their growth and invest in their well-being? Because this is an investment. Some people just feel, but if they know what they will gain, maybe they'll put in the work. So can we just talk for anybody that is here that is in that phase of, I don't know how to say no, I don't know, I'm playing the victim card and all of that. Life is dealing with me this way. Now, I want you to tell them, what would they gain if they sacrifice and invest in themselves? If they invest in self-awareness, if they invest in their emotional well-being, their spiritual well-being, their growth, and deprogramming whatever programming their family of origin, their background has actually put in them, what would they gain if they invest? So I think maybe this will encourage somebody in here to take up this challenge of growth and personal development.
Okay. First of all, I must say that growth and personal development is tough. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing. People can say it, that they have 5 steps to whatever, but it's very difficult, and it takes time. It's a process, but it's a process that you start one day, and you will fall, you will get up, you will fall, you will get up, but the main thing to do is to keep moving forward. So what can you gain from being self-aware? What can you gain from being having a good self-esteem? I think the first thing for me is yourself. You gain yourself. We're a gift to ourselves. You are comfortable in your skin. You are comfortable in your person. You accept yourself. So many of us don't even we don't love ourselves. And so if we don't love ourselves, we sometimes we do all these things because we want people to validate us. I think as women, we have a inbuilt need to be needed. We want to be needed by our husbands. We want to be needed by our children. We want to be needed in our relationships. So we go over and above, to ensure that we're needed in our relationships. So the first thing it will do is you own yourself. I think I'm the happiest I've been in my skin in this season of my life, because I love myself now. And a lot of women, a lot of people can't say that for themselves. So that's one thing. You get to love yourself. You get to love the person that you are. You You get to look at your weaknesses, your strengths, and marvel at the kind of person that you are. Sometimes I just laugh at the kind of thoughts that come into my head sometimes, and I own them. I own my person. I'm happy with the space that I occupy, and I think that's the most that's the one of the greatest benefits, enjoying your life, enjoying your person, enjoying who you are. And it always comes from self-development. It comes from self-awareness. It comes from knowing who you are. You know, that gift of yourself, nothing can can displace that, you know. And then of course you get rest, because another thing is that you're authentic to yourself. A lot of us are not authentic. We're not honest with ourselves. You know, the first person, because I keep on saying that the relationship, the longest relationship you're going to have with anybody is with yourself. You are there from your birth, and you'll be alone when you die. Everybody can leave you. Every single person can leave you. But if you leave yourself, then you're in trouble. And when I mean leave yourself, I don't mean die. I mean, if you cannot stand up for yourself, if you cannot be there for yourself, if you cannot sit down in a mirror and look at yourself and cry and laugh at yourself at the same time and be honest with yourself, then you're in trouble. And so that's one of the best gifts that you can have, the gift of yourself, the gift of friendship of yourself, the gift of knowing who you are, the gift of accepting yourself. Very important. And then the respect you gain from people, because when you're authentic, when you're at peace with yourself, people will take you for who you are. We're always afraid that when people see the real us, they will not appreciate it, but they will, because we are at peace with ourselves, we are happy with ourselves. And so people gravitate towards us. The people that will be happy with us will gravitate towards us. We'll have that peace of mind, knowing that you're not competing, you're not conflicted within yourself. You know, because so many times if we don't accept ourselves and understand ourselves and are self-aware, we're conflicted. Sometimes we don't even know that we're conflicted. You know, we're doing things against ourselves because we think that's what everybody wants us to do. But ourselves, you know, fights back. And I'll give an example. You know, I was talking to somebody, you heard in my profile reading that I do grief support groups. And somebody she had lost her husband like 5 years ago, and she just jumped into work, into everything. And suddenly this year, she felt sick. She was done all the tests, done MRIs, done CT scan, done everything. And they can't find anything wrong with her. And it was until we started talking that she realized that the body holds the score. And if you do not confront your body in some areas, it will come. You know, so the body was fighting against her, but she didn't know until it came out. So we're like that a lot of times. Because we don't understand ourselves, we're not at peace. We cover things up, but at a point, some point in our lives, the facade will come down and we'll be able to see ourselves. So that's another benefit. You are at peace with yourself. And I tell you that if you're at peace with yourself, no matter what anybody says or anybody does, it would get to you, but it won't get to you as much as if you are not at peace with yourself. Then you have clarity in your relationships. You know what you will take and what you won't take. You know how you will go for and who you won't go for. And you won't make there are no apologies about it. You whittle down your circle, and you will keep the ones that are important, the ones that bring peace and joy and happiness and laughter to you. And then you'll be better connected. People would fight against this, they would resist it, but you are the better off for it. And because you're the better off for it, you will go towards it and you will do what you need to do. One thing I know about this thing is that you will feel alive. You will be alive. You will enjoy your life. And this doesn't have anything to do with money or with anything. I told somebody, I said, my best day, if you want me to tell you what my best day looks like, it's a rainy day when I don't have to go out in traffic. It's cold, you know, maybe I bake sometimes, so maybe I'm baking, so the heat from the oven. I have a book, and I'm listening to music. That for me is an ideal day. As money come out in any of those things, okay, maybe, and there's light. So electricity might be the money. But you know, the simple things of life, some of us don't even enjoy it, you know, because we are just all over the place. But once you have all these attitudes, you self-develop, the little things, you know, going out, seeing the wonder of the world, looking at the clouds and just saying, So somewhere again, this cloud is dark somewhere. As we're here now, somewhere it's, you know, just being just living, being in the moment. Nothing supersedes that.
Wow. I feel attacked right now. Did you say this comes with age? Did you say it comes with age?
What's the word? It sharpens with age, but it sharpens with age.
I feel really, really attacked, because some of us, when you are resting like this, hey, when souls are perishing, is what you're hearing in your head. When souls are perishing,
Let's throw it out, because you see, I've been wondering too, what are we in this life for? Have we ever wondered? And you know, we come and we say it to ourselves, or the notion that was sold to us. When we get to heaven, we'll be worshiping God throughout. That's not boring. Should we not have other interests? You know, we've been sold that living is not an act of service towards God or an act of worship, but being happy. God is interested in us being happy. God is interested in us enjoying this life that he has given us, you know, and enjoying the life that you don't have to drink, you don't have to smoke, you don't have to do anything to enjoy, but live in the moment. It is very important. And I think the more that we come alive, the more that we see that life is worth living.
You know, I was imagining when you're saying that you go outside, you see it is dark here, and you're trying to imagine another place, it's morning. You know, when you're saying it, I'm just thinking, that's true. We don't even have time to think about things like that. We are just running and running and running.
It comes with a lot of seasons in life. Now my kids are out of the house, so I have time to look and reflect. But it's sometimes, as you said, it comes with age. Sometimes it comes with the season that you're in life. But what is important is that you must enjoy every season, whether your children are old or young. You must have your moments of enjoying, because nobody promises you that you would get older.
Thank you very much. Yeah, right. It's a fact. Nobody promises that. Thank you. Ama, you understand what I'm saying, eh? You get the picture. How? When are we going to get there? Like, pen. So, Madam Tara Ashida is telling us that we should slow down. Nobody promises us old age. Can we enjoy it as it comes, as the day comes? This is a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call. And I hope we are taking it in. So say, if they don't eat breakfast tomorrow, if you don't cook tomorrow morning, let them smoke gari. Let them go and take tea. They'll be okay. Nothing will happen. The ones that are in school, you are still calling them every day. People like us, there's one prayer group or another, 4:30 a.m. We are praying for our children. Oh God, when go.
I don't want to talk. So
when go.
You know, because
it's just a lot.
You really have to sit down and ask yourself what exactly is important to you. Now, why do you, for example, I'll give the examples that you used, you know, children in school. Why we helicopter parenting? You know, hovering over them. They can't do this by themselves. Who hovered over us, and were we not better for it? I think what I've learned is that at every point of my children's life, I've given them free will. Sometimes I think to myself, are you such a conscientious woman? You're not a conscientious mother. But I don't see them being any worse off for the way I've dealt with them. And then, you know, why do you have to go into every prayer meeting a lot of us, let me tell the truth, why we do all these things. It's because we think that it's by our prayers that our lives are good. And that is works. But I don't want to go there, because you're thinking that if you don't pray at 4 o'clock, then something evil will happen. If you don't pray before you enter, something will enter the car or start the car, something evil will happen. Then that means that it's your prayer that is holding your life together. God has nothing to do with it. So why are we rushing through life and holding everything up as if we're the ones that are responsible?
In charge.
Yes, as if we're the ones in charge. But if we know that there's a God in charge, because after all, we will sleep now. So what happens when we are sleeping? We leave it to God. So why can't we leave a lot of things to God? I'm not saying be responsible in your Christian duties. No, that's not what I'm saying. But why are you doing the things that you're doing? Is it because you think that if you don't do it, nobody else will do it? God, even God, you are helping him out. I mean, there has to be a shift in the way we think, because if we think we're responsible for everything, then we'll be feeling guilty if we enjoy ourselves, because we think, I haven't done this, I haven't done that, I haven't put this together, and just as everybody is just a small pawn, they're just a dot in everything. If they take you out from every situation that you are in, life will continue. If they take you out from the office is going to continue. If they take you out from the family is going to go on. They will just have anniversaries to celebrate your life. They will remember you, but they will go on. And that's the truth we need to tell ourselves, so that we don't feel guilty for enjoying our lives.
Thank you very much. Over to you, Deborah.
I've just been doing because I'm just looking at my life and like taking self-inventory, and I realized that work, home, church, like we've been playing on auto, like as if we are automated, like a machine that they've been automated, that this is the only programming. So there's no place to just pause and take a deep breath and actually see the sun as the sun and feel the wind as the wind, because everybody's like, no, adulthood. Next thing you're thinking of this, next thing you're thinking of that. Like there's no pause, because like it's a circle that does not end. So why can't I just pause? Like you said, nobody promised us old age. Anybody can go. So why can't we just pause? And this issue, I must say, is because right now, compared to our fathers, the generation past, we have a lot of mental issue now, because we are neglecting ourselves. People are just going on auto. They're just going on automated. No time to check in, no time to check in and see how their soul is feeling, how they are feeling, and then we see cases of identity crisis, depression, anxiety, because we want to be like our neighbor, we want to be more like our neighbor, we want to just, and plus the social media again, because everybody is just peppering everybody on social. Oh my God. Okay. So this will lead me to my next question, because I know that you've written and spoken about grief, loss, and identity. So how can difficult experiences teach us as women to become stronger? Because truthfully, people are going through a lot. People are going through a lot. If we ask everybody to start saying what they are going through now. But then again, these are inevitable things that we can't avoid. It will happen one way or the other. So how can women learn from difficult experiences? How can we become stronger, wiser, and more intentional about our lives? And this question is very intentional, because this is like around your niche. You've written a lot and you've spoken about grief, loss, identity. So how can difficult experiences teach women to become stronger, wiser, and intentional about life?
It was someone that said that adversity introduces a man to himself. When you go through difficult times, you cannot but be introduced to yourself. You cannot but look yourself in the mirror. You cannot but ask yourself and maybe society and even God questions. But it depends on what you do with it, because difficult times can either break us or they can make us. And it depends on what we do. And depends, I think basically it's our perspective to what the difficult times that we face, whether they will make us stronger or whether they will weaken us. So if you're asking, why me? Why is my own like this? Why can't I be like this person? Why does this have to happen to me? Then it might not strengthen you, it might weaken you. Except if you find through those why me, why not me? Or what can I do? But if you're asking yourself, okay, this has happened to me. And you see, a lot of times when we ask ourselves, why me? It's because we don't accept what has happened to us. I found out that acceptance is very key in moving forward. So somebody has died, your husband has died, your child has died, a relationship has ended. Accept it. Don't be in denial about it. Don't say if it was the mother-in-law that twisted the head of my husband, if not, our marriage will still be together. Okay, yes, it was sickness. This person, sometimes we are upset with the person that died for dying, for running away and leaving us and putting us in the situation that we had. And so the first thing I've always said is accept what has happened to you. Until you accept what has happened to you, you can't move forward. You will move backwards because you will still be in denial and you will sit in that place running around looking for why it happened to you and why it didn't happen to somebody else. But the day you accept that this is what has happened to me, what next is the next question you're going to ask yourself. So it has happened. What am I going to do about it? And that's your way out, and then you start to move out. And then it's your perception of why it has happened to you. A lot of times we sit in pain. We sit in self-pity. We sit, oh, my own is spoiled. My own is never good. I'm never, but if you move your mind away from the fact that this life didn't promise us a lot of things, and especially as Christians, I think we've gotten it a bit wrong. We think that suffering is not Christ-like. Meanwhile, the person that we are following suffered. But we think because of that perception and conception, we think, oh, if something bad happens to us, then that means God is against us, everybody is against us, and we don't know where to go from there. But life will happen to us. The Bible says that it causes the rain to fall on the good and the bad. Rain is going to come on the good and the bad, at different points in our lives. So the thing to know about it is that when that rain comes, what am I going to do with that rain? How am I going to move forward in that rain? You're not wishing for the rain by acknowledging the reality of the rain. You are not denying the rain. You are in the rain and you are still telling yourself you are dry. You are wet and you are still telling yourself that you are dry. That is denial. You are in the rain, but you're saying, okay, if this rain goes, because rain will go, because seasons will turn, what am I going to do? How can I use this rain? Am I going to keep the water so that I can use it for, save the water in a bucket so that when I don't have water, I can use the water that I've collected from this rain, to
Hello? Deborah, can you hear me? Deborah, can you hear me? Hello, everyone. Please confirm if you can hear me in the chat.
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, I want to be sure. Okay, so it's Madam Tara.
I think it's a network.
Okay. Okay.
She's
So
still
guys,
on. Oh, I don't think she's away. Let me drop a message for her. Come.
no problem. Hello, guys. I'm sure we are following this conversation and we are picking or learning from it. Please, just as I always say on this show, that our realities are different. It would be nice to hear one or two people share or ask questions so that she can also respond to it. My reality is different from yours. You get, and it would be nice if you can ask your question. You have the opportunity now to ask your question so that she can attend to it directly. So thank you very much. Thank you, Amma. You awakened something in me with this thing that you dropped here, watching the sunrise, sunset, standing by the ocean and imagining what other land, imagine the vast land, beautiful, I can imagine what it will look like. So tell me, you know, you have promised me that you're going to take me. Don't leave me, oh, tell me. Okay. If this is your first time joining us, I want to say thank you for joining us. We do this every last Saturday of the month. Today is the Women's Day. That's why you see that the conversation is around women. There are days we talk about relationship, we talk about romantic relationship. There was a beautiful and interesting topic we treated last year, the lady, her lover, and her killer. That was when we're having a lot of women dying from domestic and sexual violence, you know. So we treat a lot of topics. Children's Day, we bring children here to tell us what they expect. And you know, their mind is different. So we've had to allow children to come here, tell us what they don't like about what we are doing. And we have bold children who come out to talk about it. So these are the conversations we do have here. So if this is your first time, please plan to attend every last Saturday of the month. Okay, so yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm back. I didn't know I was out of the.
Oh,
yeah.
I think it was the network. Yeah.
Oh yes, it was. So I don't know. I hope have I answered the question.
I think you have answered the question. If you just want to round it up.
I've lost my train of thought actually.
Deborah.
Okay. So, okay, you spoke about acceptance.
Yes.
That if we not accept, we'll be able to move forward. So we're talking about the steps of what people can.
Yes. So adversity introduces you to yourself, like I said. Accepting what you're going through is one way. The perspective with which you look at that situation that you are in is very important. So, you know, if you look at it in the right perspective, then you're going to gain from it. But so difficult situations don't necessarily help us to be better. Sometimes they can worsen us. It depends on what we learn from it, you know, what we take away from it, and what we put to work in our lives from the lessons that we've learned. So what they teach us is what truly matters. Like I said, adversity introduces the man to himself. Who truly matters? Tells us what truly matters, who truly matters, and how strong you really are. Until you go through something, you can never know for sure what your reaction will be, you know. So don't waste your pain. Let it teach you, let it shape you, let it redirect you. And by, you know, accepting, understanding what it is, your season in life, and moving forward and ensuring that you make good out of what has happened to you, you find out that your experience will better you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you, Ma. Okay, I think we have a question in the chat. Let me pick that before we move forward. So, okay, I'll read the question in the chat out now. So someone is saying, how do I work on my self-awareness? That's the first question. How do I work on my first awareness?
Okay, first of all, I know when I started, the first thing I did was to do a SWOT analysis of myself. So I took a piece of paper and I wrote what I thought were my strengths, what I thought were my weaknesses, the opportunities that I had, and the threats to those opportunities. When I wrote them down, then I asked people, people that were close to me, people that I valued their thoughts and their opinions about me. I asked them and I said, okay, what do you think are my strengths? What do you think are my weaknesses? They told me. I looked at what I had and I was surprised that some things that I thought were weaknesses, they actually were strengths to other people. Some things that I thought were strengths were like weaknesses to other people. And then again, I sat down with myself and I asked myself, what do I like? What do I really, really like? Not what makes me comfortable. What are my sweet spots? And I sat down and I started to go through, and that's how I found that I've always known that I liked reading. I've always liked reading from being a child, So I knew that I liked reading, I knew that I liked going out, but I didn't know what going out, I just thought I liked going out. But I found out that going out for me, it activates me. If I'm tired, I can be tired to dress up, to everything. But once I go out like this, I'm in the midst of people, I get very energized, So I sat down with myself and I asked myself questions. And that's the thing. We have to sit down with ourselves. We have to ask ourselves questions. And it's very, another thing about it, and the most important thing I should say about being self-aware is being honest with ourselves. Why do you feel you don't like this person? For example, a lot of times we won't tell ourselves that we don't like this person because we're jealous of the person. Do you understand? But if you must be self-aware, then you must be able to say, oh, this person, I'm jealous of the person. You must be able to know your emotions. So when you are feeling maybe sad, for example, or irritable, for example, you must be able to sit down and ask yourself, why am I feeling like this? Why is this emotion arising in me? Why does this person bring out the worst in me? But why does this person bring out the best in me? So it's just asking yourself, questions about your reactions, about your emotions, understanding why you think the way that you think, understanding your emotions, your reactions, and noticing the patterns in your behavior and taking responsibility without excessive self-blame. So seeing yourself clearly, that's one of the ways that you can, start to work on yourself. But the most important thing is being honest with yourself, honest as to why you feel the way, why you even, just being honest and accepting the answers that you get. When it comes to self-awareness, there's no right or wrong answer, basically. There's only the answer that is best suited for you. And the more you ask yourself questions, the more you ask of life, what are you demanding from me? The more you ask of yourself, what am I all about? Then the more you become self-aware. So it's really asking questions with an honest, with the honesty that can be very painful, because sometimes you just look at yourself and think, oh, I'm above that. But you find out that, no, you're not above it. Do you understand? But you have to accept it that, oh, this is the way you truly feel about it. And then you can say, okay, if it's a bad emotion, how am I going to, ensure that I don't feel it that much? And how am I going to work, to make sure that I'm not feeling that emotion that is, bad, quote and unquote bad, because there's no bad emotion really. Emotion, envy, greed, jealousy, they're not bad emotions when you don't act on them. But once you are conscious of them and once you know them, then you can now go back to, oh, why am I feeling that way? So it's asking questions and being honest. That's how you basically work on yourself, on your awareness, self-awareness.
Okay,
asking
thank you very much.
Asking questions and being honest with yourself. Very, very important, because if you truly want to be aware of yourself, you need to be able to tell yourself the bitter truth. And you can also ask people to evaluate you, to assess you, and you're ready to take the feedback without being angry.
Okay.
Part of the things I do is take people back to when they are younger. You can do that. When you were 3 years old, can you remember anything? When you were 5, can you remember anything? Who were you? What were the things they were telling you then? There are some children, they say, oh, Tiro, George, you talk too much. Keep quiet and all that. Then if you're quiet now, then you know that, oh, there was a time that I used to talk. Could it be that they're telling me to shush, keep quiet? Could it be that that's why when you assess and evaluate yourself, well, I'm going to add here that at the end of the meeting, the admin would drop a phone number. If you need assistance, we have tools that can help you get to that place of self-awareness. If you don't mind and you want us to work with you, we'll be willing to do that. Thank you very much. I wanted to say Dr. Tara.
And the doctor.
Deborah, I yield back to you.
All right, thank you very much. So, see, I have one more question here, but I'm trying to understand this question. Okay, but if I read it out, the person that dropped the question said that how do we begin to retrain or shift the perspective of our male and the society at large? So when you say retrain and shift the perspective of our male and the society at large, do you mean the perspective towards women? Because
I think that it should be that. But
okay,
the person
so
can write, yes. Okay, so the person says yes.
Okay, said yes. Okay, yes. Okay.
Yeah, by talking. By training. But you know the thing about what I found and what I say is that women are the foot soldiers of patriarchy. We're the ones that enforce the rules that the men keep. So it lies in us to really train them. Am I here? I think I'm saying an echo. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So how do we retrain? By speaking out, by telling our stories. You know, nobody is going to tell our stories from their own perspective. We're the ones that will tell our stories. By training our children, especially the boys, you know, and even the girls, you know, by speaking to them, telling them a woman's worth, you know, showing them why they should, you know, why a woman is no different really from a man, apart from the sexual differences, you know. Ensuring that our boys do not think that there's a work for women and there's a work for men, and vice versa, you know, because Dr. Ebun said something about, you know, women saying that people saying that we want equal rights, but at the same time we don't want equal rights, which I find to be true. If I'm a feminist and I say it's equal, then I should be able to do 50-50. Do you understand? When it comes to maybe I go out on a date with somebody or I'm at home with my husband, you know, but when I say I want I'm a feminist, I believe in equal rights, and then I expect the man to take 100% of it, my actions and my words don't align. And that's the truth of the matter. So it's all about us, you know, talking, ensuring that we're saying the things that we're saying, not out of, because yes, there's radical feminism. There's that, and extremes of everything is bad, really. You know, so it's understanding, helping them to understand that look, we're not saying we debt to all men. No, that's not what we're saying. We just say we want to take our place, you know, our rightful place, and we're not against any other person. So it's not a fight between or a war between the genders. It's just that everybody understands where they are and you know who is who, and we all stick to the plan. So I think that's basically how we train, by our words and by our actions.
By our words and by our action. Madam Tara, somebody said she likes you. That's She always say that women are the gatekeepers of patriarchy. So she's hearing you say it again. And yeah, that means you buttress the point that women are and that's just the truth, because the woman that is raising, it is us mothers that raise those boy children, you tell the girl to do and leave the boy.
Yes.
Leave him now, he's the boy, he's the man of the house.
It's also too that when a woman is widowed, the men don't go and shave the woman's head that is widowed. It's the woman that do it.
Yeah.
It's the woman that insists that she must do this, she must take out this rights. The men don't have anything to do. They make the laws and they expect us to, carry
implement
them.
It.
So if we don't implement it, those laws will not see the light of day.
It's a go, yeah. Yeah. Sure. Thank you. So Deborah, over to you.
Deborah is muted. She's muted.
You're muted, Deborah. Is your phone hanging?
Okay, I think you have to unmute her.
You have to unmute me.
Oh, okay, the admin.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I wanted to type that you have to unmute me. Okay, thank you very much. With this question, I want to ask a follow-up question, because if we are the one that have to retrain, because the truth is, the only way to change the perception of the society and also the other gender towards us means that the bulk of the responsibility falls on us. So the next question now, yes, is that what are some ways women can intentionally give to the next generation of girls and young women? Because this is where, at least the older generation were saying, oh, when I was young, they said I should go to the kitchen. So I was always in the kitchen until they were saying, if you don't know how to cook, is this how you want to go and do in your husband's house? If you don't know how to sweep, is this how you want to go and do your husband's house? So now to break that pattern, what yes, because when people grow up now, if you grow up now, end up saying, oh, you have to cook. Cooking is the female, like it's the programming, it's serious. So in what way can we as women intentionally give to the next generation of girls and young women?
Thank you. First of all, I want to say that we don't own the total burden. Like I always say to men, you can't expect me as a woman to tell your side of the story, because I'm not a man. I'm a woman. So if anybody is going to hear the man's side of the story, it's the man that is going to say it. So the burden totally does not fall on us to retrain. Do you understand? Because the men have to take their place and say, oh, okay, this is how a man is supposed to behave. I don't know how a man is supposed to behave. I just know how a woman is supposed to behave. Do you understand? So when I'm training my children, I'm training the girls as to how a woman is to behave. I'm training the boys as to how a woman expects them to behave. But I can't train them as to how to be a man. That's the job of a man to do. So we're not going to take up those jobs for them. They have to stand up and tell their own stories. They have to stand up and give it to us from their own perspectives. It's a burden again on us with all the things that we do, to change the perspective of from the man's perspective. Now, so what do we do to the next generation of women? I think the first thing is to give them confidence in themselves. Let's be women that our children can look up to and say, okay, I would like to be like this person. I like to be like my mother. I like to be like Ngozi Iweala, Okonjo Iweala. I like to be like, the president. So we have to be role models to our children so that they can, that's one of the ways that we can give. But even apart from role models, we have to, a lot of women, I'll give an example. You're brilliant, you've gone to school, you've done so many things, and then you get married to this man who is rich, who is everything, and says he doesn't want you to work, for example, and so you don't work. And then something happens, the man dies, and you are in penury, because you've never worked, or it doesn't even die. he falls in love with somebody else and drives you out of the house, and then you are looking for where to squat, and you are, you told me not to walk.
Asked Tori Roberts walk his daughter down the aisle on her wedding day and had their first father-daughter dance.
Sorry. Okay. And you're there. You're not going to create any respect really from your girl child or even your male child, if you can't take care of yourself, if you can't stand on your own. So we must be role models, first of all. We must talk what we preach, We must be able to say, okay, if the world has fallen down, falling out, how am I going to live? And your children should be able to see you live that way. A lot of women, when they come to meet me, hey, my husband is not taking care of the family and everything. Even before my husband died, I will tell them, I'll say, so if he dies, would you not take care of your children? And then they'll say, yes, they will. I say, yes. So just pretend that he's dead for these purposes and move on and take care of your children.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It shouldn't be that because your husband is irresponsible or is dead that your children won't have a good life. Why? Why should that happen? So we must be able to be the role models. And when we are role models, they will be confident. We will give them a voice too by speaking out, by talking against the injustices in our society as we are now, by demanding our rights, as women, as human beings, as we are now. Then our values too, those are the things that we should pass to the next generation. And then emotional intelligence, how to behave. I see a lot of things in social media today, and I'm just like, there's a lot going wrong. There's really a lot going wrong. Do you understand? And I, for one, I find it very upsetting when men say, and women too say, what does a man, or that, a man should give them money, and you are upset that a man did not give you money, maybe on the first date. I mean, is it all about money? Have we just gotten to the stage that women will do anything because of money? Those are the things that we're sending to the next generation if we don't understand. And that's what they're seeing and that's what they're imbibing. So we must have something that they must look forward to and say, oh, if this person is not around, my mother will stand up, my mother will take up. It doesn't have to be a very lofty project, but that you can stand on your own, that you can pay your bills. I mean, that's more than enough. So we must be the people that we want our children to be, and we want the next generation to be. I don't know if I've answered that question properly.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. And I think it was a deep one because it says some of the things that we don't really want to face when we talk about what are we passing down to the younger generation, because they are watching. They're actually watching. And yeah, we have some of them say, oh, they don't want to live their life like we are living their life, but unconsciously, there are some things they are picking. And so we need to be careful with the way we live our lives, with the experience or the model we are showing them. Like when you were talking about just imagine and assume that that person is late. I remember that's part of the things. That was what I did when my marriage crashed, and I had to be waiting for money and all that. And at some point, I just told myself, I think I was 34 or 35 then, and I told myself, if you were to be a man, you would have been married with wife, children, and you would take care of them. So sit up. Sit up. So you don't see me sulk, cry, beg for money and all that. I just, when Yoruba say you so kushokoto, I just tied my trousers and I became the man. Like I just switched into that survival mode, and I think that strength is what my daughter sees now. At times people are like, why are you so quiet? At the same time, comfortable. she would just be like, yeah, because I'm comfortable, because I'm not talking does not, you know, our children, I was saying that to say our children are watching, and they learn from us by what we do more than what we even say a lot of time. Thank you very much. Thank you. Deborah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my lord. So as we were talking, it's a point well, everything you spoke about, it's made me remember the post newsletter that our grand mentor, Prince Owowe, dropped on LinkedIn a couple of days ago about reparenting and the pandemic. Because the truth is now we are saying, what are we giving to the next generation? And realize that even this generation needs reparenting, because they are training the next generation, the younger one, based on the programming. And that's why we are having a lot of, look at this society has put it in a way that everything women are going about or chasing about is money. If money is not involved. So the mindset of the people we are of the generation that we are putting in the society right now is just, if you don't have money, like money is just the priority. Like everything you said now, that just watching the sunset, rain falling, there's nothing about money there. But that one, to those people is like, what are you talking about? So there is a pandemic and there's a need for reparenting. So I wanted to just talk a little about reparenting, because when we check the statistics and everything, like reading through the newsletter, I was like, there's no lie here, because we have badly behaved people, like a lot of badly behaved people on the streets of social media, even on normal streets, like value, respect, courtesy, decency is just, it's as if everything is running away. So please, let's talk about reparenting, because it's key, because these are the people that are pioneering and mentoring the next generation. So imagine the decadence already. So I just wanted to talk about the importance of reparenting in our own development as women as well, because whether I would like it or not, we are mentoring our children and everyone around us. Thank you very much, Ma.
You know, in my profile, you read that I was the registrar for the School of Parenting in my local church. And how did we come about that? The founder of the department, said to us that, look, our parents, and that's truth, parenting comes without a manual. Most of us do it, by default. And our default is the way we were parented. That's just the truth of the matter. So we said to ourselves that we were going to do a school so that parents could learn, how to bring up their children. Now, a lot of parents came and they really learned. A lot of parents didn't thought that, well, what are they saying there? I really don't need it. I know what to do. And we found out that, by going through so many things, talking about the effect of social media on our children as they were growing, then we didn't even have internet per se when we started in 2007, but we had the phones. We had discipline. What discipline was all about? Was it just beating the children like we were brought up beating? Any small thing, they beat you. And they beat you for crying. They beat you for doing everything. They beat you for waking up. We just thought to ourselves, looking back at our own lives, what did all those things do for? Was it just beating the children like we decided to, reschool ourselves and retrain ourselves. We read books, we shared experiences, and we spoke to other parents. Retraining parents is something that you have to do with equal involvement of the parents. If a parent doesn't want to be retrained and tells you this is the way I know how to do it, there's not really nothing you can do. And it also depends on the core. Two of the both parents coming together and speaking in one voice, because I hope we all know that our ideas of parenting will differ because of the backgrounds that we have been raised in and our own nation, as that we're coming from. So do people want to agree that they are making bad choices in their parenting? Not everybody, until it's so glaring that they have regrets. But the main focus for today is people saying, I don't want my children to go through what I went, without separating, what was good and what was bad in what you went through. And so we find out that children are badly behaved, disrespectful, and no values. But that is also showing us that we too are badly behaved, disrespectful, and have no values, because it's what you have that you give. You can't give what you don't have. Absolutely. So we can see that so many people are very ill-mannered, because it's what they have that they're giving. In my house, for example, you couldn't say stupid when my kids were growing up. You couldn't, say those kind of words to one another. One, I wasn't saying it. Two, so why would you say it? There were so many things that, when we retrained ourselves, if there were some cartoons that my kids couldn't watch, because I watched the cartoons with them and I saw, I didn't like, I think it was Courage the Cowardly Dog, and then there were one set of twins. One was blue, one, I can't remember the name, that, they were always fighting. And I just noticed that my children started fighting amongst themselves. So I said, you know what, you're not going to watch these cartoons again. But how many parents are going to sit down and sit with their children and watch those things? What are our priorities? So my own priority as bringing up children, my overall goal was bringing up responsible children, responsible adults in the society, people that I know that are not going to give the society a bad name, and me in turn a bad name. And I'll just, try to close with, and it has to be a function of what we want. And I'll give a story to back that up. I think my son was 5 then. I have 2 kids. My girl is the older one. My son is the younger one, 3 years apart. And I think my son was about 5 that time. And I took them to a bookshop. And when we got to that bookshop, I bought whatever I wanted to buy and I left. And then I was washing when my son came to me with the pencil. Apparently, his sister had seen that he took a pencil out of the bookshop and told him to come and report himself to me. Do you understand? She's the kind of person, she doesn't like beating. Anything that will concern beating like this, she will run away from it. So she told him, go and tell mommy that you took this bookshop pencil. So he came to me holding that pencil and said, I took it from the bookshop. The first thing in my mind was, this boy, he will disgrace me. I'm the school of parenting registrar. Or what kind of, But the first thing that came to my mind after that, I first told him, I said, you didn't take it, you stole it. And then the next thing that came to my mind was, how am I going to do something that this boy will never do this again in his life? So I said, you know what, get into the car with me. So we went back to the bookshop. When we got to the bookshop, I told the attendant, this is what happened. And I told him, before we got there, I told them to call the security. They called the security. The security was waiting. I said, so tell the attendant what you did. I don't know where the wisdom came from, so I'm not priding myself. But the thought at the back of my mind was, how will I make sure that this boy does not do this thing again? So he now said he was crying by this time. I told, no, you didn't take it. I stole the book and the pencil. And then the girl sat him down and I said, okay, so tell him what will have happened. She said, that her boss will have counted the pencil and will have found out that one was missing, that there was no money for it. And then they will have taken the money from her own salary and, maybe called the police to her and that she was crying, Just show that the scenario of what will happen, that the choice that you've made, another person is going to suffer for it. And then she was even now saying, oh, madam, let me give him the pencil. I said, no, don't give him the pencil. We're not even going to, we bought the pencil. I think we paid for the pencil. And I said, do you have police here just to make sure that everything was, so that he can go? And my son said, no, I don't want to go to the police. Please, mommy. He was crying. I didn't beat him. We got back home. I didn't beat him. The next time we went to the bookshop, before we left, he started shouting, I didn't take anything. Oh, I didn't take anything. Oh. My son is 26. I spoke with him last year about this incident. He said that's one incident he will never forget in his life. Why? Because it was a lesson. I didn't beat him. It was to show what his actions and the consequences of his actions, how they correlate. Do you understand? But it was nobody did that to me, for example, but it was because I had a head point in mind. What do I want for my kids? I don't think a lot of parents have asked themselves that question, because if they do, then they would react in the appropriate way. If they say, I don't want a child that will be a gangster, that will be fighting with people in school, that will be bullying people in school, so what am I going to do to stop that? Then they will do that. Rather, they will not even go back to school and be fighting with teachers and be doing all that. So it's a mindset. What do you want? When you say what you want, then you will look through it. But I agree with you, we have to retrain. But it's only someone that accepts that they are doing something wrong that can be retrained.
It's only someone who will accept that what he or she is doing that can retrace the step. Coming back to self-awareness, you need to know who you are. You need to know what you want for yourself. You need to know what you want for your future, because your children are part of your future. And so you want to model the right way of doing things to them. You know, this scenario she painted, another parent will say, hey, she has taken it, beat the child and throw the pencil inside. I said, he has taken it, beat the child. And they just cover it up there because she does not want to be embarrassed. Because she'll be thinking, in the church that I am the Kinikon kid. Yeah.
True.
And so you just want to cover it up. And the child takes something else.
Yes. And it goes from there.
And it takes something else. And the pattern continues.
Yeah.
So what are those things that we are hiding and we see them as secrets? Oh, we don't want people to know. That is going to bounce back on us. We need to. So that's where the retraining. So you have to train yourself. You need to work on yourself. You need to be aware of who you are, who you represent. Beyond the sentiment, like Deborah was saying, there's so much on the social media. There's so much sentiment everywhere. It now seemed to me, I think yesterday, I was just reflecting, and today I was thinking, somehow, some of us that are doing seemingly the right things, we are even feeling ashamed to come out to say we are doing it, because it's becoming an old school. Like, really? You are doing that? How? Why? Life has moved. Everything is now trendy. So it's really a lot. It's really a lot. And I think he was this actress, she was asked a question about her divorce in one of the interviews recently, and said, you see this larger audience that you are performing for, they don't care. You just
So
win
why
your
does
life.
everybody need to know? Because they asked that we didn't hear anything. Why should anybody? You say it all comes from self-esteem. We have a lot of people that are going up and that you know they don't even like themselves, and they don't even have that self-respect. Because if I like myself, if I have that respect, why do I care what people say about me? Why do I care, about creating an image that I don't have so that people will like me? Why? So it's all part of low self-esteem issues. Everything that we see on social media, you want to prove a point, you want to prove that you know somebody, you want to prove that you have something. For what? It shows that there's something missing in you.
And so everywhere is just full of noise. We're just making noise up and down, and I'm like, what's happening? People are too jazzy by. Hey, ladies in the house. The truth of the matter is, even Mark Zuckerberg that created Facebook does not know where Facebook is taking him. Everybody is just doing try and error. So if they allow you, if you allow them, if you allow social media, steal your dignity, integrity,
and joy.
Please Remember the children of whom you are. That's what they used to tell us in those days. Can we bring it back? There's no need for trend. We don't need it. Somebody shared a video of a lady that celebrated 2-year-old birthday, and the party pack was a big box, and they're like, I say, hey, wow, what's all this? Why are we here?
It's all a part to show. You see, if you are content, if you have self-respect, if you have a high self-esteem, you don't need to prove anything to anybody. Those that know you will know you. Those that don't know you, well, until they meet you, then they will know you. But it's a symptom of a deeper thing when we see people wanting to prove something to people that don't even know them, people that don't even care about them. Then it's a symptom of something very deep within them.
Thank you very much. Deborah, any more?
Thank you very much. Actually, that's the last question. So we are at the end of, we're about wrapping up. So, but before we go, we just want you to just take like 40 seconds to, I know that we have both genders in this call. So let's just take like a few seconds. Like, what would you like everyone listening today to remember long after this meeting is over? So what would you like them to remember long after this meeting is over, with with the years of experience and also the different seasons of life that you've experienced? What would you like? What would be the take home that after this meeting you just want, like, what would be the action word that everybody should just take home and start running with or working with? Thank you, ma.
I think what I would like to tell everybody, and it works for both genders, because you see men too say they give, and they don't even get appreciated in return. And it's true. In our society, we expect that the men will give, and we don't appreciate them as much as we ought to. So I think what I want to tell everyone is that you're allowed to exist beyond what you do for others. You are a person. So you're allowed to exist. All those titles, mother, father, brother, sister, they're titles. The first thing and the most important thing is you in the equation in this thing. So you're allowed to exist beyond what you do for others. Find your own sweet spot. Enjoy your life. Give, but don't disappear with your giving. Love, but don't lose yourself. Don't, I always say that, you shouldn't beg for love. But you can love people, but don't beg them to love you back. Show up for others, but don't abandon your own self when you show up for others. Don't leave yourself behind. Carry yourself with you and show up for others. Because the main thing about giving to gain, is becoming whole yourself. Being first whole, first healthy, first fulfilled, and then you can give to others. So if you don't give, if you're not full of yourself, you cannot give anything to others. So please be, enjoy your life. This life that we have is just one. It's just one. Enjoy it. Forget about the title sometimes and just enjoy yourself. Take yourself out sometimes. Yesterday I would have taken myself out, but I couldn't because there was a minor incident in my home. But I go for plays for myself. I do things by myself. I enjoy my own what they call it, my own what does it?
Your alone time.
Yes, but my own company. I enjoy my company. Enjoy yourself. You are more than a title. You are a human being, and enjoy that human being. Find that human being. Make friends with that human being and enjoy that human being. I think that's basically what I would like to tell everyone.
Thank you very much, Ma. A round of applause. Okay, before I just close, I want to read a comment here. Someone dropped a comment for you. And the person says, thank you for sharing this story from your life, Ma. It is an effective example of the parental role and the impact of creating teaching moments in our daily lives. And I said, do I have your permission to share? Like, you want to share your story?
So why you credit. But that's okay.
So yeah, please share. We can learn from that, and others also can learn from that. Thank you very much. Please drop emojis. I want to see emojis. I want to see a round of applause. Let's say thank you, my Lord. I'm not seeing it, so please. Let's say thank you. Let's appreciate her.
Don't let them chase me. You see now, you are not chasing me. I know myself. I know that I can't be in that. My Lord is not me. So I know.
What God cannot do does
For this
not
does not exist. For the sake of ministry and purpose. For the sake of pushing family life out there.
See, that's
Pushing the healthy and family life.
we are not. No, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank
I
you
hope
so
that
much.
I'm able to speak to people, and that from this interaction we'll go back, we'll talk to ourselves, we'll be honest with ourselves, and we'll really live life. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate. Thank you for giving me the forum to speak and to contribute,
We
my
appreciate
little.
and celebrate you, ma'am, and looking forward to having you more and more in this show. Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Deborah. That was a beautiful anchoring.
Thank you,
I
ma.
celebrate you. Yeah, I
Thank
appreciate you. Well done, well done. Please celebrate Deborah too, guys. Celebrate Deborah. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you so much. Madam Tara said you are allowed to exist beyond what you do for others. Find your sweet spot. I love that. Find your sweet spot. Give, but don't disappear. Very important. I'm also taking a lot of things home today, because it seemed to me that everything today is just talking to me. I'm also, a lot of things she said, I feel really attacked. Like,
I didn't mean to attack anyone.
but it's okay. That's why we're saying it's ministry. We agree and we accept that it is God that is making you say all those things. And I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And please, ladies and gentlemen, how many men do we have in this room? Please enjoy yourself. Give. Don't lose yourself. We have heard over and over again where children will say, and mommy will say, I did it because of you. And they look back and say, mommy, who sent you? Who sent you? Don't be too mother hen. Let them make their mistakes, because they have started their own journey too. By the time they get to 18, anything you have done to that age, the remaining is your report card. If you can't do anything before age 18, every other thing is your report card. Don't be too mother hen. Let them. Do you know somebody made an illustration one day, and I'm sorry I'm bringing religion into this. It was the story of Job, when the devil went to meet God to say, this man, this is it, that. God said, you can touch everything around him, but don't touch his soul. That means every other thing around him, they are on their own. But his soul, do not touch, because it's very special. And do you know that Job, we always wake up, do sacrifice for the children. If they say father and Job was, hey, I don't want my children to make mistake. He will sacrifice, kill cow, kinikon every day for the children. But when the test came, God said, take all of them if you want to take, but his soul, our children, we need to teach them. We need to model the right way of life to them, so that when they find themselves in places they are not supposed to be, they know what to do. And I'm saying that to say, see, you can't be there and lose yourself, because these same children, they will ask, who sent you later? We are not saying don't be good parents. We are not saying don't be good mothers. No, that's not what we're saying. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Some of us, that it is work, will not even create time to rest, to look at the sun. Hell, me too. I will start looking at the moon and the sun. It's not even very worse if you work from home. You don't even want to go anywhere again. You're just on the seat totally for morning till night. Let's do something and life will be easier and sweeter for us. We are more than enough. There's a lot inside us that we need. The juice needs to start coming out. That is when you will feel fulfilled. Thank you very much once again, Madam Tara Asida. I really appreciate you. Deborah, thank you very much. And with this, we come to the end of the family meeting, the March edition. Admin, please drop the phone number to the office. If you need counsel, if you need, okay, the replay is on YouTube. You can share with people, with your loved ones. The replay is on YouTube. Please share the phone number for the lady that is asking for how do I find myself again? What do I need to do to be self-aware? You can reach out. And if we have any other person in the room that will need assistance in finding yourself, in helping you, if you need somebody to just listen to you talk without judging you, please call the number and we can pick up the conversation from there. See you next month on the last Saturday in the month of April for another beautiful episode of the family.